Guys, I don't know if you know, currently right now, the biggest flex you can do inside of Destiny is to flex your Guardian rank. Now you may be thinking, Cross, why in the world would I ever want to chase something like Guardian rank just to have a number next to my name? And to that I say, quiet sixes, the eights are talking right now. All kidding aside though, guys, there is a level of prestige having this Guardian rank leveled up. And even though we are going to be talking about Guardian rank here very soon, because I do not like the idea of this all being reset at the end of every season, as of now though, flexing this rank is a beautiful thing. Now I actually want to focus up on two areas, and by the way, there are timestamps on this video if you're specifically just trying to find information on scoring in Nightfalls. First, I'm going to start with the 130k Nightfall. You probably have seen for rank 8, if you complete a Nightfall on Legend with a score of 130,000 or better, this will clear this objective. This is incorrect. Hopefully Bungie fixes this. Actually though, you have to complete the Nightfall on Master with a score of 130,000 or better, which honestly, most Master Nightfalls will definitely get you over that threshold, so that's no problem. And this week's Nightfall, it's not the hardest, but it's definitely not the easiest. It's also extremely dreary, but it's the new strike Hypernet Current. Again, you can easily get 130,000, no problem on this Nightfall if you complete it on Master. Now moving on to my rank 9s, or my guys that are trying to get rank 9. You might be running into the wall of getting 200,000 points or more in a Master Nightfall. Now let me just be straight with you. You're gonna have to cheese your way to 200,000. It's not going to be beautiful. It's not going to feel good. But currently right now, the scoring system really is trying to drive us at these upper levels to commit to Grandmasters. Master difficulty really is not supposed to give you 200,000 points. Matter of fact, if you look at last week's Nightfall, despite the ad density, we never got anywhere close to 200,000 points. So if you think this week's Nightfall is difficult to get 200k, surprisingly, this may be one of the better Nightfalls to reach this mark at Master difficulty. If not, you're going to have to wait until Grandmasters come around, which again, to some of you, that may be just fine. To me though, I want to flex, man. I want to tell my raid squad to hush up. The 9s are talking right now. By the way, I hope you guys know I'm completely joking right now. Some of you are going to take this super seriously, and some of you are going to take this as like a license to be super toxic about your Guardian rank. This is a joke, fellas. At the same time, it is kind of a flex. I'm just saying. It feels good to be rocking the biggest number. Now let's get into this Nightfall right here. What it really boils down to is you're going to get to the boss and you're going to wipe over and over and over again. That's it. That's the Nightfall. That's the only way you're gonna get 200,000. And we tried every other way to bring our score up. We focused precision kills. We went for finishers. We created orbs. And all I can tell you guys is all of that is for naught, because you're just not gonna get enough points. I would get 195,000, 196,000. Finally, the conclusion we came to was that the only way we could pick our score up to 200,000 points in this current Master Nightfall is to die over and over again and have someone res us. And literally that's what we did. Les would just sit there, we would run off the map, FX and I, and Les would just res us over and over. Now you get a whopping 175 points per res, which means in order to get to that 200k threshold, you are going to have to die a lot. Honestly, this is one of the few times you can ever tell your fire team that, hey, when I die, I am actually not throwing, as I am contributing to our overall points. Now I'm going to go through this Nightfall in just a second, but first, let me just let you know two ways you can do this. You can either go to the boss room, get the boss down to where he's almost one shot, and then just kind of go to the back of the room and send two of your friends over the edge over and over again, revive them at 175 points per revive, and get somewhere to that 197k mark, which I know we went a little bit over there, but we were trying to be safe about it, but get somewhere around that mark and then kill the boss. The downside of doing it here though is that the boss will continue to attack you, and those taken blinds that he's shooting will straight up wreck you in like one shot. So if your teammate is in there reviving you over and over again and starts daydreaming and gets hit by one of those blinds, that's a GG, game over. You just lost your chance at getting 200k points. On top of that, he's also spitting out these orbs at you that will track over there. So your teammate is having to sit there and concentrate on reviving, shooting orbs, and avoiding those taken blinds that are being blasted at him. Now again, if you've got a teammate that can handle all this, no problem. However, there is a safer method, but you have to be able to handle the boss room. Right before the boss room, you're actually at a section that is under the boss room. It's the area in which you have to cleanse those taken rifts. Lots of thrallers spawning in. There's lots of ads. But after you complete this section, you don't have to run up. Matter of fact, guys, you can just go ahead and accumulate your points right here. You want your points to be somewhere around 158,000, maybe 160,000 just to be safe. And this is honestly the safer method, as you can do this until about the 22-minute mark, which I do think that 8 minutes is enough time to get the kill on the boss if you don't wipe. Now, the reason why this room is so good is that you don't have anyone attacking you, and you can easily accumulate accumulate points. And honestly, you don't have to go that much further. You really only need to tack on an extra 15,000 points and then push it to the boss room, get kills, and kill the boss. And that should be enough to get the 200,000 points, just as long as you kill the boss and everything else within that 30 minutes. Now, an extra 15,000 points is roughly 85 revives, give or take a few. If you want to be safe about it, do 100 revives, literally 50 per person. And I know what you're thinking, wow, such riveting gameplay, Cross. Listen, I know the things we do just so we can flex. You don't have to. Again, you do not have to get your Guardian rank up. You never have to even look at this number. This is purely for my folks out there though that do want to flex this thing. And again, always remember, if you get up top and you realize, oh my God, I don't have enough points, we're about to kill the boss, but we're a few thousand off, guys, feel free to stop, get some revives in, you're completely fine. And realistically, the boss gives a little over 4,000 points. So it's like 4,375 points if you kill him within that 1.75 multiplier, which is within that 30-minute time frame. So you only have to get your point threshold to about 195,625, although I would be safe about it and just get it to 196,000 just to have a little more over. Now let's get into this Nightfall real quick. First up, Wendigo is dropping this week. So if you're still on the hunt for that God Roll Wendigo, you might be able to snag it. Also, across the board, Master Nightfalls and pretty much all the content across the game, rewards have been increased. Now keep in mind though, I would not suggest it. There are much better farms out there. This is a very, very long Nightfall, like at least 20 something minutes. And that's not even including the time it takes to farm for points. Now modifiers for this Nightfall, again, things are split up now, guys. You have surges and you have threats. The threat this week is arc threats, which is why those taken blights, which deal arc damage, one-shots you every single time. There's also famine, where all ammunition drops are significantly reduced. This one hurts, guys, like badly. So unless you have someone on your team rocking Aeon Gauntlets or taking advantage of the artifact mod Bricks from Beyond, you're gonna realize very quickly how little ammo you have. Now our other modifiers include Solar Surge, as well as Strand Surge, and grenade launchers are overcharge. You're also gonna be facing Overload and Unstoppable champions, but there is a variety of ways to deal with those guys. Now, do not look at the build that I'm using here. Matter of fact, completely ignore it. Weapons though that I would suggest in this Nightfall actually is Sleeper Simulant. Solar Surge is on. You're also gonna be dealing with the Tormentor there at the front end, and Sleeper does really good against Tormentors. On top of that, guys, Sleeper did not receive the same nerf that other linear fusion rifles received. Now, another weapon to be utilizing this season is Leviathan's Breath. Leviathan's Breath, guys, and we talked about it the other day in our exotic breakdown video, it got a massive buff against champions, a 30% damage buff. It also can stun unstoppable champions, and it should be able to dip in to Bricks from Beyond. But keep in mind, guys, I don't know if it's Leviathan's Breath and its Volatile Explosion, but I've had some issues proccing Bricks from Beyond. But overall, in this Nightfall, heavy ammo is just really hard to come by, even with Bricks, which is why I do advise having someone on your team rocking Aeon Gauntlets with Sect of Insight. Now let's get into the Nightfall itself. It opens up with you dealing with some Cabal enemies, and you'll have to push up this cliffside and deal with these Cabal that have the high ground. Now, when you enter the cave area, you're gonna see an unstoppable champion here, a number of ads. There's also lots of void shields, which is why it's completely fine if someone on your team is rocking like a void LMG. But deal with these champions, and you'll notice here after you're getting these kills, you'll see these arc charges that are dropping on the ground. Feel free to pick those up, guys. Like, they actually do some pretty decent damage. So if you're just looking for like free damage without utilizing your weapons and consuming your ammo, always feel free to pick these up throughout this entire Nightfall. Now, at the top of this area, you're gonna be met with some more unstoppable champions. Deal with those guys in these ads, and then you're gonna drop down below. Now, you're gonna see this taken ball in the middle. That's essentially where the portal is, or where it will be after you defeat the Tormentor here. And you're gonna have this giant Tormentor spawn in the middle, which is essentially a mini boss, as well as other unstoppable champions. Things like Sleeper Simulant is really good against Tormentors and would actually be pretty good here. But upon dealing with these guys in these ads and these unstoppable champions and killing this Tormentor, you could then drop down this portal. Now, dropping down this portal, when you immediately look over the edge, before beginning to investigate the Vex network, deal with these unstoppable champions while you're above. Now, continue to push up, guys, and again, be careful not to get booped off by these Cabal, and watch out for those taken blights. I mean, seriously, they will instantly kill you, especially if you stand in them too long. What's crazy is that this is Master content. Grandmasters is gonna be even worse. Now, after killing that unstoppable champion, you'll go to the left, and now you're actually gonna see this area with all these taken blights. Now, the fastest way to shred these taken blights is really just to kill this Vex Minotaur, pick up this arc charge, and start shredding each one of these taken blights. It makes pretty quick work of it, guys. You'll have to pick up a couple charges though to do it. But again, the point here is also to accumulate points, so kill all the ads in this room as well. Upon killing that last blight, these ads will despawn. So you may want to consider just going for the kills real quick, take out all the ads, and then prioritize the blights after you're done. Now, upon clearing out all these blights, the portal here will open up. You'll push on through, and now the fun part, the Sparrow part. Imagine imagine SRL, but also imagine it with enemies all over the track and taking blights that can instantly shred you because your Sparrow is literally made of paper. Very combustible and extremely flammable paper. Now, what we actually did right here, guys, is we would stop and clear out some of these ads, but keep in mind, you are suppressed here. So if you try to jump over one of these gaps, you're gonna die. You're literally gonna fall to your death. You can't even do things like melee or use your abilities. Hell, I couldn't even use my Glaive melee for some reason. This is where I would suggest that whoever it is on your team that's rocking like a Void LMG, if you're taking advantage of things like bricks, stop, get some kills off, shred these ads so that you can get all the points that you can here, and then proceed to move on. Now, you're gonna be met with a bunch of overload hobgoblins, which are extremely annoying. Get some stuns off and proceed to melt these guys. Now, the next area, this is that area where you can actually stop after you clear out all these ads and run off the side of the cliff and farm up reses. But in this area, you have to cleanse the taken rifts. Now, this is essentially the same mechanic that we did earlier, except the rifts are on the outside. And at the same time, as you're doing all of this, there will be a number of ads that are going to be spawning on top of you. And there's also some overload champions that are already set up at these ledges that have the high ground. Extremely annoying. But clear out these ads, cleanse those taken rifts, and about 50% more ads will spawn in. Again, continue killing these ads so that you're getting points for all of them. Now, if you can, after clearing these guys, farm up reses off the side here over and over. And again, try to get to 158,000 points. But at the same time, you need to leave yourself enough time. Like if you notice you're at that 21-minute mark, guys, you need to start moving. Like you need to get up there and kill the boss, or at least get it one shot and see where you're sitting at point-wise. Now, moving up into the boss area, you have to defeat this taken Hydra. Korea 2.0. It's got a rotating immunity shield, extremely annoying, and it's got a ton of ways to kill you. The taken blight, the tracking orbs. But while all of this is going on, a number of ads are going to be spawning in, including unstoppable champions. Be very careful, guys. You don't have to stay in the center portion of this room. You can always bounce to the outside. Now, clearing out these ads and getting the boss to 2/3 health, the boss will then teleport away and more taken blights will spawn in. Now, you have to destroy them, but again, just like earlier, there's actually going to be some Vex Minotaurs that spawn above that are glowing. You can kill those guys, they'll drop those arc charges, and you can start clearing out those taken blights. Again, like I said earlier, guys, that arc cranium does some amazing damage. So turn around, knock out those blights, and feel free to use these things to kill ads and do damage to the boss. Now, upon taking out all these taken blights, you can continue doing DPS here to the boss. Again, I was rocking a succession here, considering I didn't really have anything else that could do major damage to the boss, but just keep peppering the boss, and once it gets to about 1/3 health, it'll teleport away and yes, spawn another wave of ads. This time, it's similar to the mechanic as it was in the room below, where you're gonna have to pick up these Vex craniums and instead shoot the taken rifts on the outside. Now, upon taking out all those taken rifts and clearing out all the enemies, this is when you really need to check your points. If you're about 196,000 points, you're good. You can honestly just go ahead and kill the boss. If you're not though, and you are in a situation where you do need to get more points, feel free to go in the back of the room, guys, and just spawn more reses. Proceed to get to that 196,000 threshold and then take the boss out before 30 minutes to get the full multiplier. And there you go, guys. You have reached 200K. Now, keep in mind that getting precision kills are supposed to award more points. Getting finishers off where you can, especially on champions, is also supposed to reward more points. The problem here, guys, is that we actually took the time to have the perfect run to get a finish off on every champion, to prioritize precision kills, and we still did not have enough points. Even though 175 points per res does not seem like a lot, it's honestly pretty free and not bad, considering you can just keep resing over and over again. Obviously, in Grandmaster Nightfalls, you're not going to be able to do this, but at the same time, reaching that 200K threshold in a Grandmaster won't be difficult. At the same time, Bungie could give us like an outrageous amount and be like, yo, get 500,000 points in a Grandmaster for rank 12, baby. But wait, Cross, we don't have a rank 12. I know that's why I said it. So guys, that is your guide this week for this week's Nightfall, as well as getting that 200K point threshold. Again, as we unlock more ranks, I'll continue to provide more ways to fully optimize things. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.